Life exists even 500 meters below the entire ice sheet of Antarctica, where sunlight never reaches. In that world of perpetual darkness, some isolated tiny creatures have survived for thousands of years. The entire ice sheet here extends to a depth of about 5 kilometers. From above, it seems like a white, empty desert, lifeless and silent. But under that white surface, there are all sorts of miraculous things hidden. Mysterious rivers flowing in the opposite direction, a gorge wider than a city, active volcanoes and hidden bubbles of air that are millions of years old locked in the world's largest freshwater reservoir. And now powerful countries are vying to control this reservoir. China is building new permanent bases and Russia is conducting geological surveys. But what is there under the ice that everyone is so desperate for? What are they really looking for? That question today we are going down to find the answer. It will be in the mysterious depths of Antarctica's frozen ice. Antarctica is the 5th largest continent in the world by area. Even the entire United States and Mexico combined would not equal it. About 70% of the world's fresh water is contained in the ice sheet of this continent, which is so thick that it could cover the European Alps. It is the coldest, driest, and windiest region in the world. In winter, the sun does not rise for months. The temperature can drop to -90 degrees Celsius. And strong storms carry everything away in the wind. Yet, even in such a hostile environment, the presence of life has not stopped there. Yes. Nature has spread life everywhere in its own way. The ice in Antarctica is actually a vast library of time. Every year snow falls here incessantly and accumulates in layers under its own weight. Just like the annual rings of a tree trunk. Each layer of ice is a silent history of a year. And tiny air bubbles get trapped in that layer, which retain the air sample of that year. Thus, under the frozen ice of Antarctica, the prehistoric details of the Earth's climate, starting from the ancient atmosphere, are hidden. Scientists have drilled several kilometers deep and brought up long ice blocks, at the bottom of which the air of about 1.2 million years ago is also trapped. This information has revealed when the Sahara Desert was a green forest, when mammoths roamed the Earth. And through this it has been possible to know that the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere was half of today's level. Ice forgets nothing. What I have said so far is only the upper part of this continent. More. If we go deeper, Antarctica will open up more mysterious chapters in front of us. There are some worlds hidden in the heart of Antarctica that are beyond human imagination. There is a whole world of water under the ice. Thousands of hidden rivers and lakes are spread like a web in the depths of Antarctica. Some are bigger than the largest cities. They have survived without sunlight for millions of years. When suddenly all the water in the river changes its path and flows quickly to another place, the ice above it fluctuates by several meters, as if something moved inside the belly of the ice. Sometimes this hidden world reveals itself by breaking through the ice. For example, the mysterious dark red waterfall that comes out of the side of the Teller Glacier is called Blood Falls. At first glance, it seemed as if blood was dripping from the body of ice. Later, scientists realized that it was actually ancient salt water that was trapped hundreds of meters below the ice. So, there is a lot of iron mixed in it. The iron oxidizes as it breaks through the ice and gets air on its way up, turning the water red and purple. And this red waterfall proves that the nutrient-rich waters under the ice reach the sea and circulate throughout the environment. For example, the iron and nutrients in that water nourish the tiny algae in the sea. Countless krill or shrimp live by eating that algae. And the world's largest animal, the blue whale, depends on krill. Once upon a time, blue whales were almost extinct in the waters of Antarctica due to constant hunting by humans. Today, they are slowly reviving. But how they can survive in the changing sea is still a mystery. Now let's dive deeper. Far below the ice, there is a vast channel called the obstacle, which has been frozen in ice for millions of years without sunlight. Scientists believe that all such life can exist in its waters. There may be something that has not been seen anywhere else on Earth. In addition to the ice, there are more than 700 glacial lakes beneath Antarctica. And scientists have already found traces of microbes and microorganisms by drilling into a few of them. Even small shrimp-like creatures that swim in dark water far from sunlight have been found in the locked samples taken from the ice floor. All this shows how deep and hostile life can be hidden. So scientists think that such life may also exist under the icy moons of Jupiter or Saturn. Now we have reached the actual land of Antarctica. Let's remove the ice layer and explore the real subsurface of Antarctica. Because it is covered in ice, it was not known until now that there are huge mountains and valleys with a world-class view below. The gambers of mountains are as high as the Alps in Europe. The Denman Canyon Trail is the most. The deep gorge is about 3.5 kilometers deep, but it was completely hidden behind the ice. In addition, one after another dormant volcanoes have been discovered under the ice in the western part, which do not erupt, but are constantly melting the ice from below. The fossils found in the rock layers tell us that this icy country also once had green land. Millions of years ago, when Antarctica was part of the Gondwana continent. At that time, there were dense forests, rivers, and animal settlements here. Over time, this continent moved to the South Pole and was covered in frozen ice. But the traces of that lost world remain in the fossils and soil in the rocks. This is the invisible treasure of Antarctica, for which the powerful countries of the world are now trying to strategically position themselves. Because geologists think that there may be reserves of coal, oil, gas, and rare minerals under Antarctica, just like in South America, Africa, and Australia, which could be worth trillions of dollars. But now these resources are sleeping in eternal ice. Because the 1959 agreement made Antarctica an area dedicated only to peace and scientific research. Mining or military activities are still prohibited here. However, the opportunity to review this agreement for the first time will come in 2048. If the ban is lifted then, a new competition for resources will begin on the ice sheet. But even then, Russia is already searching for oil and gas by conducting geological surveys. China is increasing its presence by building new stations. And the activities of countries like the United States have decreased a lot while occupying other countries. And with this opportunity, the balance of influence in Antarctica is gradually shifting towards China and Russia. But the environment of Antarctica is very sensitive. Because the ice, the sea, and the fauna are so intertwined here that if one is hit, the rest will be affected. The balance that has been built over millions of years in the game of greed can be broken in a few decades. Although this continent has remained peaceful for 7 years due to the agreement. But 2048 is not far away. And then the future of this Antarctica will be decided. Please like this video, and subscribe my channel.